What's up,
Hey,
y'all? Do you see my nails?
Not too close.
I ain't gonna shade you on the video, babe. Okay?
She did a
Not too close because they're a little messed up, but they're very.
It's giving.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to our channel. I'm Yalla.
I'm Cabria.
And today we're going to talk about how we left
the church.
Yes, how we left the church, honey. Oh God, we left our religion. Go. And then also, baby, what are we doing?
We're just painting a little canvas. And we're snowed in.
Y'all, this snow is crazy. This blizzard in
Kansas
City is crazy. But anyways.
Yeah, we snowed in. We can't go nowhere. So we're going to paint a little canvas that we got.
Yes.
And yeah, talk to you guys about why we left the church. So our paint is down here. So yeah, we're gonna start.
Okay. You want to start, baby, or you want me to start?
I'll start because my story is a little simple, but let me get into this painting first. Okay, let's get into the tea.
Let's get into it, y'all.
So basically, why I left the church was because I was pretty much born and raised in the church. Pretty much my mama had me in it, okay? She was pregnant with me in the church. She's been playing piano for churches since she was 9 years old. Her mom, I feel like her mom pressured her to do that. And then I feel like she kind of just passed it along to me and my sister, my older sister. And she just toted us everywhere, like single mom. So like her jobs were like overnight, but then like her side hustle was playing for churches. So that's all I know. So
imagine your side hustle being playing for a church.
I mean, she was trying to get the extra money, okay? Yeah. But also she was very into it. Like she is a minister now, and she has been all my life pretty much. And so I just feel like I was raised in it, so I just pretty much adopted those ideals. I need a pencil too, babe. Or should I just freehand?
However you want, babe.
Because I really want to draw, but we gonna still tell y'all the story. So yeah, that's just a little backstory, just so y'all know like the type of upbringing I had. Like my mom was very, very strict, and like, you know, I only knew her to play gospel music. Like we didn't really listen to nothing else. So yeah, pretty much grew up in the church, basically. And I sang in the church, everything. Like I was pretty much a devoted Christian. And what drew me to not be that anymore, I would say around 2020, before 2020, I was questioning, like, why are they saying homosexuality is a sin? Like, does the Bible really say that? Like, but even before that, before coming into knowing that that was the feelings that I felt personally, I always just questioned a little bit, like, in like Sunday school, y'all know, like the kids we had a little gymnasium in the church I grew up in, for real. I've been to several churches, but the one that was like my home church as a child, we had a gymnasium for the kids, different classrooms, and then all the adults would be in the main church. So I love Sunday school. Like I'm a school person. Like I love to learn about things. But in the back of my mind, I tell babe all the time, like I was questioning some of them stories, like Adam and Eve for one. Like, so Eve, y'all blaming a woman for us not, us having cycles and stuff.
Right.
Okay, he ate it too though, but okay. And then she come from his rib. It just, a lot of the stories in the back of my mind as a child, it just didn't make sense. And I remember asking my mom one time, like, what if none of this is real? Like, what if, and I was young, I was like, what if none of this actually exists and we're just doing it, and then when we die, like, nothing actually is going to happen? She was like, I've thought about that too, but just got to have faith. That's why you got to have faith the size of a mustard seed. And I was like, okay. And I just kept along with it,
which is very harmful, by the way.
As I matured, of course, and came into my adulthood and just started meeting other people, like, because I went to college in New Mexico, and also just being in high school and being a part of our little gospel choir, it made me see, like, oh, all Black people aren't like Christian as I know it. Like, they ain't Baptist. Like, I met a lot of Black Catholics at my school, and it was very, like, shocking to me. I was like, oh, so y'all don't be singing like, ah, like, it was like, no, but we love that music. And I was like, oh, wow. So there are different experiences. Like, just talking to other Black women and seeing that, oh, you can have a different experience with God, and then moving to New Mexico for college and seeing the different types of churches that were there, because I was over the gospel choir while I was there too, and just getting to know other people and their walks of faith, and how as a Christian, because you have a particular walk, that you feel like your walk has to look the same as the people that you know. Like, you want them to mimic your walk, and when it doesn't, it's like, you start to become judgmental. And I felt myself either being judgmental or just trying to, like, open myself up to different things. And so, just to basically wrap my little story up, I'm sure we're going to cut some of this out. I would just say, ultimately, it came down to me battling with my sexuality at the time. I would say I was about, how old was I when I was like, I searched, is homosexuality a sin? And then it just started, I started hearing testimonies, and I started, just watching different, what are they called? Like, web series or different stuff on YouTube, just different testimonies, I just wanted to know, like, why is this a sin? And when I started to realize, oh, that's not actually what the Bible says, that opened up everything for me. Like, okay, so what else isn't true? Okay, where does the Bible actually come from? Who wrote the Bible? Like, once I started questioning all those things, it was just a go from there. But 2020 was the peak of it. I was in a straight relationship, a heterosexual relationship, and I was still feeling those feelings. Like, for women, I was attracted to her.
You should see my face. I was like,
once I seen her, y'all, I was like, see,
there is a God.
But no, I was like, that feeling ain't going away. Like, no matter what, like,
yeah,
it didn't go away. Like, so I just started to unpack, like, all right, so the Bible doesn't say that, but I keep hearing it. It was just, I keep hearing preachers say this, and I keep hearing, you know, people just spew things that aren't true, you know? Like, when you really read the Bible for itself, and when you actually study the Bible and where it comes from, the history of it, the history of how it came to be,
yeah,
you'll start to see, like, oh, all of that was gaslighting, and it was fear-mongering.
Yeah. So
I'm still in the process of, well, I feel like I'm completely, like, yeah, I don't identify as a Christian anymore. So,
yeah.
Is that, like, a good
yeah.
summarization? Like,
Okay, so my story, just like a little small backstory. I grew up in foster care. My grandparents was a bishop and first lady. So I was like born on the pew, y'all. Like when I say I was born in church, I really mean it. Like obviously I was born in the hospital, but I was really born. Church was all I knew my entire life. There was nothing else that I was ever introduced to secularly, I guess you want to say. Like everything that I knew secularly was from a movie or anything that I could like grasp in the real world, and that would have to be like outside of my home. And I didn't really do a lot of that. Like if we had any outside activities, it was usually with the church. So I grew up strictly like, you got Pentecost, okay, we don't need no music type Pentecostal church, meaning you don't need the music. If the musicians aren't there that Sunday, we were still gonna have church. Everybody was still gonna sing. Some people was gonna go boom, 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 and we were still gonna have we were still gonna have a full ass service with no music. Like that's the church. We don't need no music. That's the church I grew up in, y'all. Very old school. Like everybody in my church, well, everybody in my grandfather's church is related to him. So it was just his family, majority his family, and that's kind of what it was. It was like a bunch of our family getting together every Sunday to praise God. That's literally what it was. And I see my upbringing as being raised in a cult, and I'm going to be very specific on why I say that is because a cult is something that is a structured religious practice that sometimes makes you try to change yourself or alter yourself for a deity. So that's what a cult is, and that is what I was in. I was in, this system that told me that I was worthless from birth, that I was born a sinner, that I'm an abomination. I'm not supposed to lean not to my own understanding, like not supposed to use my brain, just no form of critical thinking. It was just like, trust in the Lord. Like that's pretty much it. Like somebody's sick, trust in the Lord. You need a new job, trust in the Lord. Not actually go get the job. Right. There was no like, let me teach you how to apply for a job. It was like, if you need a job, trust in the Lord, he might give it to you. And I was like, how the hell are these things not connecting for us? Like, how am I not able to make critical, how am I not able to critically think? How am I not able to make critical decisions? Why don't I know how to do that? And so I personally got to a point, I questioned God. My whole life, it always felt like it wasn't really real, but I would devote myself to the idea that God was real. I would literally sit there and say, you are real, God. I know you're real, even though I would never feel him. I would never hear him. And obviously,
do you think you did that out of fear?
Trusting him in fear, you saying?
Yeah, do you think you made yourself believe that because you were scared because of what you were taught? Like going to hell?
Yeah, but like I wasn't, okay, so I wasn't that scared of hell. I think what made me say scared was I was scared to leave. I was scared to lose my family. Like I was scared that like everybody would abandon me, and I didn't want that. Like I loved being alone as a child, but I didn't like feeling lonely. So as long as everybody was around me and I was like by myself somewhere, I was content because I knew there were people around me. So I was scared to lose that like comfortability. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think that I could live a life without my family because I was just raised, like we couldn't spend the night over our friend's house. Like if they had a daddy or a brother, right. Like we couldn't really spend the night over our friend's house. I had like one or two friends in high school where I actually spent the night over their house, and it just wasn't a lot of experiences that I was able to have outside of church. So I was just afraid to actually just lose it because I'm like, I don't have anybody. Like I don't really have anybody else, and I am having a hard time making friends that understand me because all my friends in high school, y'all, they didn't really go to church like that. So here I am, the Christian girl who sings as well as like how my babe. I'm the Christian girl that sings in choir. I go to church every single Sunday, most Wednesdays, and a few select Friday night prayers, but mostly Sundays and Wednesdays.
Revival, wasn't no Halloween. It's
Child
Halloween night.
convocation. They made us miss school. Here's what my family did. Babe, chime in because we can, What my family did, y'all, the first week of school, every single year that I was in school, I missed school. I never got to enjoy finding my classes with everybody, getting to know everybody in the beginning. I always was the late girl. We were always the late kids because our school started at the beginning of August, which was our church convocation. So we would go and sleep in the church. Yes, my grandparents would not get no goddamn no Airbnb or hotel or nothing. We slept in the church. In the church. Yeah. So imagine that fear of spending the night in the church. We had to wear skirts. Oh my God. Our church was the type of church that my grandpa wasn't so fixated on women wearing pants, but he was,
Anytime my mama had to play for a church that was like she was like, okay, this is one of the ones where y'all can't wear pants.
Right.
No skinny jeans. Y'all gonna have to. And then my sister, she's mask presented. So that was always a fight growing up for them. Me, I go in between both. So it's
right.
I was like, okay, girl, whatever you want, mother.
And it's not that I ever had a problem with wearing a skirt. I just felt let me choose. If I want to wear one, then fine. And if I don't think it'll change God's mind about me. But
right. And then being in a choir for some churches, they be like, all right, y'all, I need y'all to have y'all slips on. We don't want to distract nobody. That's a distraction when y'all come in here with all the tight stuff and
which is so interesting how they were so restrictive. Is that the word? They put restrictions on women and their clothing so that we wouldn't lure in the men. But it's do y'all have no self-control? Because if you're sexually attracted to an ankle and you can't control yourself,
a child,
that's a you. That's a child. That's a you problem. I don't see why I have to be responsible for how a man sees my damn ankle or elbow or shoulder or whatever. Have some fucking self-control. Have some fucking decorum. I don't think we can cuss, right? Language.
Some people do.
But so basically, yeah, I just strict. I mean, we were hit a lot. We were whooped a lot severely. Switches, belts, wooden spoons, back scratchers. I mean, anything you can think of. And so it was just a very when we became teenagers, of course, they didn't whoop us anymore. But it was a very huge, part where we were just constantly being whooped or punished or standing in the corner with our hands above our head with one leg up, shit like that they teach you that in church and in religion is to abuse your children, to discipline them. And
it's justifiable because the Bible says spare your rod,
spoil the child.
And they took that to mean
beat the fuck out of your child.
Yeah, you can't say all that.
Sorry. They took that as whoop your child. Discipline your child by abusing them. And honestly, what really made me want to leave the church, which is, I wanted to give you guys a moral of the story, especially for both of us, but what made me actually leave the church was I could no longer pretend that my life was not my own. I could no longer put my life in the hands of something I really, truly never believed in. And I tried to believe in it. I got baptized when I was 13. I tarried for the Holy Ghost. I mean, I did all of the things that you can think of. And I genuinely just could not. There was no relationship with the deity. I realized that it is my my imagination. I realized that it's something that I make up in my head to decide to do. I have to decide to have faith instead of it being something that comes so naturally. And I feel if God is real, he would come so naturally. He would literally reveal himself so easily to me because he knows me, you know? If that was the thing, if God was real, he would be able to know me and know how to come to me and say, I can make Yalla believe in this by doing this. But I never got any of those signs. I never, just nothing. And so I left, and then of course I came out, and my grandfather was not happy. He, you know, we don't speak now. He called me demonic, y'all. I'm demonic and evil and all the things. I haven't done anything yet, but I'm demonic because I got a girlfriend. She fine as hell. And so, yeah, I left the church because it didn't make sense. It was very harmful to me, and it's harmful for a lot of people. And yeah, thank you guys. What it's gonna look like. But yeah, do you feel like she trying? Do you feel like your mother holds any animosity towards you for not being in church anymore? Do you think she notices that that's just something you no longer want to follow? Has she questioned you about it?
No. My mother is a ask don't tell type of person. That's a lot of church people.
Absolutely.
But like my mom really believes that, and like there's so many things that I don't say and won't say because just I've always, and this is why I am reserved, because I've always been taught by my mom, like, when you get here, don't be asking for this, don't be like,
Don't tell
close your mouth,
business.
don't act. Yeah, so it's like she even does that with her own children.
Right.
So it's like I don't know when my mom is going through something. I can count on one hand. I've seen her cry once, and it was in church at the altar, and it was when I was much older. So like, so she kind of hinted at something while we were arguing over the phone, because even though I have been a like follower of Christ, I still had a little rebellious thing. Like anytime I went to church, I would hear, "You're such a free spirit," like, cause I didn't wear no bra, like I wore my hair all over my head, like I've always been like kind of like
a hippie, like
crystals, and I can't have crystals. What?
Mm-hmm.
What you said? I can't wear my snake armlet. Like I can't wear a waist beat. Like all of that stuff that I would wear. Not you know, showing skin or nothing, but just the little small things.
Right.
They made me feel like I couldn't do it. So that turned me away even further. But when it comes to my mom, she just doesn't ask.
Mm.
I kind of just, if she says something that's like doesn't align with what I believe, I kind of just be like, well, I don't necessarily believe that, Mom. Like, I don't believe that anymore. But I haven't like gone into full detail. I would like to now that I'm very, very, very sure about what I believe and what I don't believe. Like, you know, if, you know, I see her soon, hopefully, because I would like to see my mom. It's like, we have an estranged little relationship, but we still can, you know, talk and laugh because my mom is hilarious. But yeah, if she actually sits me down and says, this is how she would say it. You going to church? What you doing? Like, I don't know what you believe, but she'll hint at it like that. And if she does that, I'll be like, well, Mom, no, I don't go to church. We can go into that. And I'll tell her why I don't. And both her and my stepdad are ministers. So, like, I'm just preparing myself for the worst. Because that is jarring for people who have been in church pretty much their whole life. At least my mom has. So it's going to be a shocker, but probably not that much because I've always been like, oh, Cabria, she finna go to New Mexico. Oh, Cabria, she finna go to Boston for school. I always up and go. Since I was 18, I've been going and moving. So she know I'm very, I guess, cultured or experienced. I've had a lot of different experiences. I've met a lot of people. So I
I
hope
feel
she
like
wouldn't
she knows.
expect to.
Yeah.
I'm the same girl.
I feel like she knows you're free spirited, but to what extent is what maybe where you'll have to like talk to her about, you know? Because I feel like she knows that you're not in church like that. She knows that you don't have that relationship with religion in that way, because I feel like y'all would be sharing that together, and that's not something that y'all do. So that has to hint at her like, okay, Cabria is probably not really in the church like that, because she's not, calling me or talking to me, whatever. But that's, kind of the same for me as far as like my my grandpa and my church family. Like even my mother is in it still now. Like she still so heavily believes in it, but she also agrees with a lot of the things that I say about it. But I'm like, so are you still in it because you're scared? Or have you ever sat there and thought, why do I still believe in something that doesn't benefit me? Why do I still hold on to something that I don't actually really believe in and actually really practice? I'm just like insurance, like just in case I do die.
Yeah, because that's something we always hear. Like when we happen to bring up, yeah, we don't believe in that. People will say, "Are you not worried about your soul? Like where you're gonna go after this?" We just be like, no. I used to be very fearful about that.
Right.
But once I let go of that fear shit, baby, it's nothing you can say that's gonna make me believe in something that a white man created.
Right. And I'm just thinking about how much more pain could we be in. Like if you pinch me right now, I'm gonna say ow. If you stab me, I'm going to scream. But when my body is no longer when you can no longer, put anything on my body to where I feel pain, why would I be afraid of suffering after death? Like, I'm going to be gone. Like, I'm not going to feel anything. I'm going to be nothing. And if you're saying I'm going to be a spirit, then my spirit has no feelings. It's not going to be able to feel or do anything. So what am I afraid for? Like, what am I really actually genuinely afraid of? And if you think spirits can burn and be tormented, I think that's just really...
It sounds made up.
Yeah, it sounds made up. It's not, because like no one has ever been there.
But I will say, as a little maybe last point for me, the whole death thing was the last point of me deciding if I didn't believe anymore. Because I had already deconstructed from believing like homosexuality is a sin. I know that's not true. And believing that a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. That's
never been true.
Out of here. But the whole, where am I going to go? That was something that I was like, okay, well, let me just sing in church and say, oh, higher power, protect me, and do my prayers and all of that type of stuff still. But because I would watch a lot of NDE stuff, near-death experience, and people talking about like how they met God or they saw a light, and I would watch those types of videos all the time on YouTube. And then like, I heard certain testimonies growing up as a child, and that was always the thing. Like they would bring in somebody to be like, yeah, I almost died, but God, like they would use that as like a
testimonies be so annoying.
See y'all better get right. Get right now, because when you die, like no.
Testimonies be so mediocre. Did you fly? Like unless y'all can fly, right? Okay, unless y'all can go to the bottom of the ocean and hold your breath, you can't tell me that, oh, I almost died, that's miraculous. Like people almost die every day. People do pass away every day. So it's like what y'all are saying is just what normal occurrences for humans. It's not anything miraculous that's happening. Like, oh, her heart started again after it being pumped from the doctors. Like, yeah, that's what happens. That's what the heart does. Sometimes it can be pumped again to make it work again. So it's like, it's not miraculous stories, but I think people take their own personal, like experiences and try to make you believe that what they're seeing is real. But that's just projection. And that's you having, again, like a belief system or faith that something is there. And I just no longer wanted to have faith in anything. Like I wanted to stop trying to believe in something and just focus on what's right here in front of me and focus on what's tangible, because that is what I use every day in my life, is tangible things.
The power of now.
Yeah, the power of now. And I feel like, yeah. And I feel like this is a whole different topic for another day, but even like going into what spirituality is, like I am someone who just does not believe that there is any spirits or that there is any type of spirituality inside of us other than what we create. And I do think that it's energy. And I think people keep trying to take energy and turn it into all types of stuff. And I just think energy is what it is. It's not something that's been created. It just is. And that's why we can't explain it. We be like, why we can't find the start of Earth? Because it just was. It just is. Like, that's why y'all can't find it. That's why we're having a hard time trying to, when did the world start? It didn't. It just is. But yeah, okay, so that's the end of our stories on why we left the church. If you guys want to hear a part 2, if you guys want us to go more in depth about our stories and about leaving the church and about maybe just like how we found ourselves now and what are the things we do now to just kind of stay how we are and be positive people and benefit in the world. Like, if you guys want to know more of that, then we'll do a part 2 if you put it in the comments. Yeah, talk to us. But yeah, that's the end.
Thank y'all for the support thus far. We will see you guys next time.
Make sure you like, you comment, and then you subscribe to our channel. Bye.
Bye, guys.